Hello and welcome to the January Outturn Podcast from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Coming up, what are we drinking, Callum?
It's called Whisky, derived from the Gaelic word Whisky.
You can explain the distillery codes.
Oh, yes, I know them all by heart.
New year, new t-shirts, my idea. When I put this t-shirt on, it smelled a bit like glue.
Is that what you're
I'm
getting?
a sensory kind of guy.
I'm Richard Gosselin, editor Unfiltered. I'm joined by Callum Lawson.
Callum Lawson.
That's right.
That's me.
That's your name.
Thank you for not introducing me as your sidekick,
My
or
sidekick.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll
Co-host.
Yeah, and we're delighted to be joined by Anna from the marketing team.
Hello.
How are you doing, Anna?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Good
Feel
stuff.
very honoured and nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a wonderful festive season, a great Hogmanay, and 2025 is off to a good start. Lots of exciting things happening at the Society. And I think maybe we've got some new members. Maybe you got a wee gift from Santa, a Society membership, and you might be tuning in for the first time. So we thought we'd kind of give you a wee idea of what you might be able to expect from the Society.
Are we flavour of the society?
No better
I love
person.
it. Just hands over to me.
Our head of member services, Callum.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
You know, what can our new members expect
So,
from being members of the Society?
yeah, well, there's quite a lot to go through, but I'll try and keep it short and to the point. I know that's probably not my strong point.
No.
Though. Yeah, so we're a global network of members. We're a whisky club at heart. If you're lucky enough to live in the UK, we have a venue in Glasgow, which is the newest venue, which I used to work at. We'll have 2 in Edinburgh, 1 in London, and we have partner bars all over the world. We have lots of events and festivals all over the world as well. Yeah, we specialise in single cask whisky. This whisky is only available if you're a member, regardless if you're buying it online. And you know, we release about 25 whiskies every month. We specialise in single cask whisky, but we do a lot of other things, and that's where it gets kind of not complicated, but there's a lot to go through. And I think if you were to walk into one of the venues and see all the whiskies, you'd be like overwhelmed by the variety and the volume of whiskies that we have. So there's quite a lot to talk about, which is a bit. But if you've just joined, there's plenty of time to talk about it.
Yep.
But that's the wonder of the Society, and you can't really go wrong because the quality of the product is just so fantastic. You know, we've got a really experienced team who've been working on our whiskey maturation for many years, and it's just fantastic stuff.
Yep. And we get together every month to talk about some of the releases that are coming out in the UK and the EU. But yeah, endless variety, I suppose, is the kind of key phrase.
Absolutely, and there's not a better way to share a whiskey than with somebody else. You know, having that conversation with somebody about what you like about a whiskey, and it just you know, it's really, really sociable, and that's the whole point of a whiskey club, having this shared passion and
Yeah, and for anyone that's not been to the members' rooms, if you've got access, then that's really where it comes to life, I think, where you meet other people, they're into whiskey, they're, you know, just want to drink great whiskey, meet people, compare notes, and it brings it all to life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
But equally, you know, if you live in another country in the world, like in America, they have a monthly meetup and you know, things like that. So there's plenty of other opportunities for people to get together.
Yeah, good. Well done. That didn't take too long. Hello to Anna. Thanks for joining us. Part of the marketing team at the Society. Anna, tell us a wee bit about your whiskey journey, how you ended up at the Society, and what's your kind of whiskey background?
So I started drinking whiskey quite a while back, and I think I have my dad to thank for that. He's a massive whiskey drinker. He's got a big collection of whiskey. So I kind of started to taste different kinds of whiskies with my dad. But I'm going to be honest, and maybe it's not the best thing to say in a whiskey podcast, but I absolutely hated my first whiskey. I thought it was disgusting. I think he gave me like an Ardbeg or a Lafroig or just something really, really peaty. Yeah. And I thought it tasted like an ashtray. Yeah. So I really, really didn't enjoy it. But then we kind of kept sampling things just because I really enjoy just tasting different kinds of food and drink. Mm-hmm. So the more I had, the more I got, you know, different kinds of flavors from the whiskies, and the more I enjoyed it. And then obviously once I moved here, that interest just peaked. It took another level because it feels special to be able to kind of take part of the Scottish culture in that sense.
Did you move here because of whiskey?
I didn't move here because of whiskey. I moved here because education was free. So that's why I came here.
What did you study?
I did my undergraduate in business management, and then I did my master's in gastronomy. So we kind of looked at the world through a lens of food and drink. But just always kind of had that interest. And then while I was studying, I got this job at White & Mackay. So I worked there for a while, and then I really wanted to get into the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. So I decided to apply for the member services team. So I was initially there for a couple of months just as a Christmas temp. And then they hired a role in marketing, and I applied and I got it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And you wrote a dissertation about, what was it, the kind of whiskey experience, what was it?
Yeah, so the title was Unraveling the Allure of Whiskey, a gastronomical exploration beyond taste. So in plain English, why do people like whiskey?
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what I wanted to explore.
What's the answer?
That's the answer, yeah.
What is the answer?
So what is the answer? Why do people enjoy whiskey?
What's the summary?
Let's go straight.
How many words do
straight
we
to
need
it.
to read?
Well, it's 12,000.
12,000, okay. Give us the,
The summary.
20-word answer.
Maybe we should actually put effort in and read it for ourselves.
Well, we probably
You
should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the really,
I'm happy to share.
Why do you think?
abbreviated
Yeah, why do you
version?
think people
The
like whiskey?
abbreviated version. Well, I should say that I specifically chose to not focus on taste and the actual liquid, because so much research has already been done on the liquid itself and the taste.
The scientific part of it.
Yeah. So I wanted to delve a bit further, because I think obviously taste is a big part of why people enjoy drinking whiskey. But I think there's other aspects that hadn't been explored. So I looked into that, and a big thing that came out why people enjoy drinking whiskey was it's kind of something that you associate a bit with sophistication, Scotland, and also almost like a gentleman's drink.
Yeah.
So it was kind of focused a bit on the gendered aspect of whiskey as well. So I looked at some whiskey marketing to see how that affected particularly female whiskey drinkers. But yeah, it was really, really interesting. It was.
I think, when you talk about, I think wine's quite similar to whiskey, and there are other drinks
Yeah.
around the world that will be similar, but there is, I mentioned having a conversation about a whiskey. When you share a whiskey, there's such complexity to the drink, and there's so many different flavours that you can get from it.
Yeah.
That it's all about your own interpretation of what you're getting, and that's part of the fun of discovering each whiskey, because each whiskey or wine is individual and completely different, and that's why people love it so much, I think.
Yeah, it takes you almost on like an adventure somewhere else. I think a lot of people as well mention that they enjoy drinking whiskey so much because it's not something that you necessarily drink to get drunk. It's something you drink to enjoy, to savor.
But if you get a little bit drunk, then it's okay.
Then it's okay. I mean, it's a big plus.
We're all
If you ask me.
responsible here.
I said a little bit drunk.
Just a little bit, a little tipsy.
Yeah, a little bit tipsy.
Yeah.
But what about from the gender point of view? What did you discover from your research from that point of view?
So I did like a content analysis of different whiskey advertisers. I can't speak of different
You
whiskey.
need a whiskey, that's why.
I think that's what I need.
Open whiskey.
Yeah, we should. So I looked at different whiskey ads and to see kind of how that was targeted to people. And what I found, particularly in the women that participated in my study, was that they almost felt like it was a bit gate-kept, and they felt like it's something that you disassociate with a gentleman. It's like the whiskey advertisement that you see, but also films and media that you consume. Like
Even nowadays.
Even nowadays. But I think
It's changed a lot.
it's changed a lot, but I think the perception will take a bit of time to change. I think obviously people are making a lot of big changes, like our Whiskey Foundation, for instance. And I think those kind of things definitely help. But I think the perception is still a bit there. So the first question I asked people that were taking part in my study was, if you imagine someone drinking whiskey, who do you see and what kind of surrounds them? And everyone said a man.
A guy that looks like Callum.
Yes, with a tartan. In a leather chair.
Leather brown chair with the beard, the grey beard.
Yeah, and a cigar.
And a what?
And a cigar.
A cigar.
So
I
you're
don't smoke
missing a
cigars.
key
I'm afraid,
component.
I mean, I think there's definitely more young people and women drinking whiskey these days. I've seen them because when I didn't start drinking whiskey till I was in my mid-30s, and when I was in my 20s, it really wasn't that fashionable. We drank Jack Daniels or other things, but bourbons and stuff. But none of my friends were really drinking single malts. It was very much an older person's drink, and I had to kind of persevere with it before I got into it as well, in terms of taste, because it is an acquired taste. But I mean, if you look at the demographic of people that drink whiskey, there will be more men, and it will be more probably middle-aged men. But the other elements are definitely growing, and hopefully they just keep on growing.
Yeah, they keep on growing.
It should be enjoyed by everyone, and there should be no stigma involved. No one should feel like, oh, this drink's not for me. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
Over the age of 18.
Right.
Over the age of 18, that's an important thing. Yeah.
I'd also like to think that the Scottish Malt Whisky Society is a very open and welcoming environment for younger drinkers, female drinkers, for everyone, and I think certainly if you go into the members room,
it's upmarket, but it's kind of laid back.
It's
not
mixed vibe.
Yeah, exactly. You might think it's going to be a bit kind of if you've never been to any of the venues before, you might think it sounds like a bit
it's not
exclusive.
It's not a gentleman's club.
No,
I mean,
no.
I think if that's your perception, then
It's a whiskey.
prepare to have your
whiskey lovers.
perceptions blown away.
Yeah, which is a good thing to have.
Absolutely. And I think that's true. It's not a gentleman's club.
No.
And if you walk in at one of our members' rooms, I'd be really surprised if that was the vibe that you got.
Yeah.
You definitely don't get it when you walk in, because I've been on quite a few tastings now, and it's always such a warm and welcoming environment. And the members are so lovely. Like, you always end up chatting to everyone. Because usually, like, my experience with tastings that I've done before is that it's almost very much like an individual experience. But when I go to the members' room, you talk to the other members. How long have you been a member? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a proper social
Yeah,
engagement, and it's really nice.
If you do a tasting in a venue, I always found that people might be a little bit shy at the beginning.
Yeah.
People are worried about saying the wrong thing, when it comes to whiskey. But as the evening goes on, people end up becoming really pals,
Wonder how that happens.
Well, the whiskey might help as well a little bit, but they are, it's sociable. Then they'll become friends, and they'll stay for a drink afterwards. I know members that have met people at tastings and then stayed in contact, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I've met friends at the venue, so it's great.
Yep.
I think as well, because we focus so much on fun and flavor, it takes some of that kind of barrier away.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because that's the focus.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think we've ever got into such a big conversation. At the beginning of the
but I think
podcast.
it's a good start.
It's great.
Start of the year.
If we've
Quite
got new
intellectual.
members, dissertations.
Too intellectual for me.
You're not writing a dissertation on whiskey.
No.
Still working on that.
I got the first page done, and I spilt my dram.
I'm still doing my research. A long way to go.
Yeah.
Dog ate your paper, that kind of thing.
No.
So we've got a lot of whiskey to come out to get through, but January Outturn, January the 10th, this Outturn. Usually it's the first Friday, so I don't know if we mentioned that, did we?
We haven't.
Okay. First Friday means we release a new batch of whiskies on the first Friday of every month, but this month, because it's January, first Friday was the 3rd, and I think that was just a bit too early.
People need a bit of breathing space.
People need a wee bit of time to recover, maybe, from Hogmanay. So first Friday, the 10th of January this month, but we've picked out a few bottles. We should start with this one, because, Callum, what happens on the 25th of January?
Well, it's Burns Night.
Well done.
Yeah.
And
Is everyone laughing like I wasn't going to get that?
is there a reason you've got these tartan trees on?
Oh, I wasn't actually going to draw any attention to it, because you know me, I don't like to be the centre of attention or
not
show off at all.
Not at all.
No, I just thought it was appropriate. I actually thought, I did say to both of you that, if you're going to, we might wear some tartan, but nobody else.
Well, I don't know if Burns is all about tartan, to be honest.
Well, now you tell me.
Well, each to their own. Do you know much about Robert Burns?
No.
Scotland's
I
national
feel the
poet.
pressure. Yeah, is he not kind of the creator of the modern novel?
No, you're thinking of Walter Scott.
Oh God, please cut that out.
No,
Cut that out.
That's okay. Well, Scott's got a big monument in the middle of Princes Street.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you can't avoid
yeah.
it. But he kind of invented the historical novel. That was that hadn't been done until Walter Scott came along.
Yeah.
Rob Roy and Waverley and Ivanhoe and all that kind of stuff. That's Walter Scott, who's a great
Different
writer,
person.
but he's not Robert Burns. What can you tell us about Robert Burns?
Don't put that on me.
What did you learn at school?
What I learned at school?
Nothing.
Not very much.
Really?
Well.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Our national
Scotland.
poet.
I would say, that's all I could say is he's our national poet.
Yeah, I mean, celebrated around the world. From humble origins, became world famous. I mean, I think he's probably the most famous poet in the world, really.
Yeah.
You can take your Wordsworth, all right, the English know about him. Everyone knows about Robert Burns. all over the world.
I'm just worried about saying the wrong thing, to be honest with you.
Anyway,
You probably
I've
know.
already done
well,
it,
you know.
so.
Thank goodness you're not Scottish. That's a shame on me.
we've got a special bottle for Burns Night. It's called Supper Sipper, cask number 88.31. Do you know anything about this, Callum?
So this is from a Speyside distillery.
Yeah.
It uses worm tub condensers.
Yes.
So it's quite got a kind of sulphury edge to
Yeah.
it. But that turns into a lovely kind of floral complexity.
Mm-hmm.
I've not actually had the pleasure of trying this.
No.
So is this one we're opening?
We're not going to open it because it's in big demand. We can't spare it.
It's always the special ones that you don't let
I
me open,
know.
isn't it?
I know. It's XPX Hogshead, so
So there's a really sweet syrupy
Nice-
style of
nice
sherry.
and
It's only
rich, yeah.
really sweet style of sherry.
perfect with the haggis. You like the haggis?
I do like haggis.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that would
You
go
do?
down well with the haggis.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to give us any burns today?
No, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I
Put
did.
it on a sunny face.
Well, you're the poet here. Come on,
Will you
you're
do
the
an
you're
ode
the
to haggis?
you're the journalist.
It does
You're
the address
you're
to
the
haggis.
writer. Come on, you give us a bit. You know a bit. Come on.
As Chapman billies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, as we sit boozing at the nappy and getting Uncle Offie Foo and Uncle Happy, we think now on the Langscott smiles, the waters and mosses, slaps and styles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her wrath like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm.
You've been practicing that.
No.
Whoa! Well,
Just remember, I could go on, but it goes on for a long
What's
time.
that one called?
that's impressive.
What do you mean?
Is that?
You kidding me on? Tam O'Shanter.
This is where I'm like, cut that bit out.
Tam O'Shanter. Right, let's drink some whiskey.
Right, if I put this one down then.
You can put that one down. So that's out this month for the Burn Suppers.
Oh yeah, sorry. Before we move on, I'm going to tell you about the dates of different events in the memberships this month. So we've got Burn Suppers happening at each of the venues, different nights. So the Vaults in Bath Street will be on the 23rd. Greville Street's on the 24th, and Queen Street is on the 25th of January. So there's still tickets available, and it's a great evening. So get booked now.
Right. Good. You can't beat a good Burn Supper, honestly. No. You really cannot beat it. And what other poet also is celebrated with like an evening of poetry and song and food and whiskey? It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
I always feel like we should do more for St Andrew's Day as well. Like I feel like St Patrick's is Paddy's is huge globally, and I can understand why. Yeah. But then we really don't do much for St Andrew's, do we?
No, not enough. We're on to our first whiskey. Pick this one out because very exciting. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Oh yeah.
It's a new distillery. 161.1. You can explain the distillery codes.
Oh goodness, yes, I know them all by heart.
No, but the kind of idea of how the coding system works.
Oh right, so the coding system works is that the first kind of number
Sorry,
you
Anna,
see...
he does this. He just puts you on the spot.
Oh, does he? So
Yeah.
I don't have to
When
carry on.
When he doesn't want to answer something
No,
himself.
you're doing great.
I'm doing great.
You like the way he's like gives a bit of burns, knowing that he has got a whole thing like in his back pocket about. And he's like, oh, I just know it. He was up all night rehearsing that in front of the mirror.
It makes him look so good.
This truth and honest Tam O'Shanter, as he fae air a night did canter, old air from near a tune surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. Right, that's
It's a Broadbeach moonlight east to me.
Right, where were we?
Right.
161.
Oh, am I carrying on?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So Society Cask number 161. So that is the 161 distillery that we bought a cask from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one was. Can I say that? No.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
that's the one you can't say. There's
That's the one I can't say.
no,
I
you
can't say
can't.
it.
Well,
okay.
so yeah. So basically the first distillery we ever bought was distillery number 1, and it's kind of gone on from there.
Yeah. So now we're on 161.
160. Isn't that amazing?
It's pretty impressive.
161.
61.
Even better.
Yeah.
I meant 160s.
Yeah.
We're in the 160s.
161. So 161 casks. And then the number 1 here is for
It's the first cask.
It's the first cask with this distillery.
Right, exactly.
So
well done.
always then exciting to have a 0.1.
Yeah, and in December we had the first cask from distillery 163.
Mm-hmm.
So in kind of typical society fashion, things aren't quite in order.
Jumbled.
But we've gone from distillery 163 in the first bottle, and from there to distillery 161 and the first bottling
Both
from
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And there will be a 162 at some point. don't know when. But exciting always to add a new distillery to our list
Yep.
of bottlings. You know this place, Callum?
I do. I've been actually. I was involved. We went to go and purchase the casks for the first time.
Yep.
So, much like the distillery you were mentioning, 163. Very exciting new Scottish distillery.
Yeah.
So this is, I can probably say, because I'm sure they won't mind, this is from Nick Nean Distillery on the Morven Peninsula.
Yeah. Very remote, eh?
Really remote. Yeah, it's a tricky place to get to.
Yeah.
You have to get the smallest ferry ride in the world.
Do you have to go to Mull and get
No,
the ferry
no, you
across?
get the
Oh,
Connaught ferry.
Corran.
Corran, that's it. Sorry, yeah, correct. And it takes literally 2 minutes. And we went, so around that area, you've got Ardnamurchan on the next. It's in the same peninsula, but it's the next bit inland. So it's kind of like the way the curvature of the coast. So it's it sticks out like that. You've got Ardnamurchan here, and then you've got Nick Nean, and then right across the water, next to Mull, you've got Tobermory. So when you're standing at the Nick Nean distillery, if you wanted to go to Ardnamurchan, if you had a rowing boat, you could probably get there. Well, maybe not a rowing boat, but if you had a speedboat, you could get there pretty damn quickly. But it takes an hour and a half to get all the way around.
Yeah.
And then you can see Tobermory. So you can see the wee town of Tobermory with all the different coloured houses. So it's quite high up on the coast.
Yeah.
So it's a stunning scenery, and it's a really impressive distillery. It's built on a family estate.
Yeah. It's a very environmentally friendly, or
It's 100% organic farmed.
Yeah.
And it's net zero for level 1 and level 2 emissions.
Yeah.
So
they're kind of blazing a trail, aren't they, in terms
Absolutely.
of the kind of sustainability side of things
Yeah.
in the world of distilling. 6 years old, from a first fill STR barrique.
Which is interesting because one of the people that was consultant on the project here was Jim Swan, who's sadly no longer with us. But he was world famous for his vision was about creating excellent whiskies, but at a younger age. So it was all about sort of fruit forward style of spirit. And quite often that would be influenced by sort of more active casks like your STRs or other wine casks. So
it's like they're mostly wine casks, aren't they? The STR casks that have been shaved, toasted, recharred, and they're bringing a lot of those winey, fruity notes to the fore. Yeah. What do you think, Anna?
I think it's really, really nice. I think the nose is so nice and buttery. It almost reminds me of like
Brandy
toffee, kind of buttery popcorn.
Yeah, I absolutely get that.
Yeah. Caramel as well.
Caramel as well. Yeah, it's delicious.
Absolutely delicious.
It is really nice. But single cask, 58.3%.
Well,
that's what it's about, isn't
we're
it?
talking about bringing out more flavour in the younger whiskies.
Yeah.
Well, single cask also does that as well because the flavours are just more full on. It's a purer product,
Yeah.
So that obviously helps as well.
Tremendous. Well, a great addition to the repertoire.
It's so exciting to see a few of these Scottish distilleries, new Scottish distilleries coming through and being bottled by us.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
I think there'll be a lot of excitement from our members, to see these.
Yeah. And I should say for everyone, there's a feature in Unfiltered in January about the distillery, interview with Annabelle, really delving into the background and the processes, the sustainability side of the story. Good feature. So dig into that for a wee bit of background. Nice. Okay. We've got quite a lot to get through. You want to crack that one open, Callum?
Let's do this. Okay.
What we got?
Oops, excuse me. I'm just throwing litter on the ground. I'll pick it up later, I promise. 'Tis not for you to hear what I can speak. Now, I have no idea what that is in reference to, but my writer friend here will.
Shall I just make something up?
You could, it would believe.
Wow, Callum.
This is how you turn it back around.
This is a famous reference to something that I don't know anything about.
I was almost going to call you Annabelle there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just to prove
Close
it.
enough.
Also, I'll let me tell you more about this bottle apart from the name, which we'll touch on in a wee second. Yeah. So this is 6.78. So this is a Highland distillery. 16 years old. It's the deep rich and dried fruits. It's bourbon, and then it's been moved into a second fill XPX hogshead. So we've got another PX cask here. So Richard was about to tell us more about how we name our bottles. And did you and have a guess at where this name comes from?
Tis not for you to hear what I can speak. No idea. But
Does anyone know?
I think
Google it.
I think, the bottles have quirky names. They've got different names. Every bottle gets its own name, and it's the tasting panel that comes up with the name and the tasting notes. And sometimes it's something quite obscure. There might be references that you want to Google to find out what they are. But, it's a bit of fun more than anything else.
It's a lot of fun, yeah.
Some of them are more literal than others.
You've named a few bottles.
I've done a few, yeah.
And have you ever been involved in naming a bottle?
I think I've just named one bottle so far.
That's one more than me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's your turn next then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're on the panel, aren't you? Is
I'm
that
on
right?
the panel. Yeah.
Great. And how long have you been doing that for?
Gosh, I think I started on the panel back in March or April. So not that long. But I'm enjoying every moment of it.
It's great.
It's
It's
great.
really good.
Yeah.
It's good because it feels a little bit like you're doing an exam, right? Because normally when you have a whiskey, you sit and talk about it, and then somebody else will say something, and that'll sort of spur you on a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I get that too. But in that setting, you can't. If you do it all individually, you write down your notes.
Yeah.
So you feel a bit more worried about
It's a bit of a
if what you've written is going to match up with anybody else.
Yeah.
Will you agree? Will you
don't know.
disagree?
Sometimes it's funny though to do it because sometimes you agree on most things, and then sometimes it's just complete opposites.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the fun.
Yep.
And it's the way you should, without any influence from anybody else. That's how you should be tasting it. Yeah.
So what do you reckon to
I haven't tasted it yet.
6.78? Okay.
I think it's lovely.
Yeah. It's an interesting distillery. I know we don't talk about distillery names. We won't mention the name of this distillery, but it's a kind of quirky distillery, I would say. Every distillery has obviously got its own characteristic. They do something slightly different. And this place, I think it's more to do with their condensing of the whiskey. They use interesting line arm formations, which are not standard in the industry.
Okay, I actually know that.
Yeah, they've got like some...
You stole my notes earlier, also, wasn't it?
Some kind of crazy bend in the line arm. Okay. And I think that it increases the
reflux.
The reflux.
So it's a lighter...
Lighter, but it's still a kind of...
It's a kick.
It's
kind of similar to the last one in the way they were talking about that kind of buttery... This has got probably maybe a bit more spiciness to it.
I think a bit more spiciness, yeah. I got it almost like nail varnish. That was the instant thing I got. But then now it's really floral and fruity, and it's quite nice.
Richard got me these new T-shirts, which I'm going to show off just now, right?
I've mentioned
New year, new T-shirts.
Yeah.
My idea. But Richard, got it together.
Yeah.
But when I put this T-shirt on, it smelled a bit like glue.
Okay.
I think it's the print.
Is that what you're...
I'm a sensory kind of guy,
yeah,
you know.
Are. Yep.
I'm always just exploring the senses and smells.
One for a future tasting note. Gluey T-shirts.
But yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
But that you just remind me of your sort of nail varnishing. That is something that because when you smell nail varnish, it's not a bad smell.
It's not a bad smell. No,
it's a kind of It's
an intense smell.
Yeah.
This is also an interesting one, and I think it's when you come to the society new, you get access to these single cask bottlings from distilleries that you just don't otherwise see. Certainly not at cask strength, right? Because this distillery, I think it's the William Lawson's blend, which
I should know that.
contributes the bulk of its whiskey to William Lawson, which is massive around the world.
Unheard of in the UK.
Unheard of in the UK.
I bought a bottle when I was in Magaluf in 1997.
Yeah. Anywhere around the world you see William Lawson. You don't see it.
I just bought it because it's my surname, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I drank it. I just bought it for the novelty. I definitely didn't drink whiskey then.
So it's just not that widely available under its own label.
Yeah.
And certainly at cask strength, it's...
You're fairly sloshing that bottle about there, Richard.
Maybe I should put it...
Just
spill it over poor Anna. She'll never come back on again.
It's pure magic. Right. Okay, good. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What we got?
I have to say these trousers are a little bit itchy.
Right.
Oh,
I stole these from my
Wanna open
father.
that one, Anna?
Thank you, It's Peter. He's known as Big Pete.
Big
I'll
Pete?
give Big Pete a
Oh.
shout out.
Thanks, Big Pete.
He hates being called Pete, and he certainly doesn't like being called Big Pete, probably.
Right.
So there you go.
He features a lot in our marketing material.
Yeah, my parents are
Oh, does
in.
he?
Yep.
Yeah, they're in quite a lot of the tastings.
Yeah.
The picture on online tastings when
You and your Big Pete and his wife.
Big Pete and Carol.
What's her name? Wee Carol.
Wee Carol. Yeah, she is quite wee. But my dad doesn't even really drink whiskey, but he's a fantastic. He's doing a great job
model.
acting. He's like
Great
he's,
model.
he's right in there.
What's a good pour?
Hefty one.
Is that a Swedish pour?
Oh yes.
I've actually got some scars on my hand here. Not like to complain, but
Oh, thank
I was helping out in the bottling line downstairs, folding boxes for them for a bit.
Very kind
So
of
we're,
you.
we're getting a bit of a because this actually isn't January; it's actually December. So we're just helping them get through the
It's
Christmas
November.
rush. Oh, it's November. It's
Yeah.
not December.
Right, this is very different.
Confusion.
Right, what are we drinking, Callum?
It's called whiskey, derived from the Gaelic word ishkaba. Ishkabe. Yeah, I did that at the festival quite a lot. You know, like you're talking to. I was at the Glasgow Whisky Festival recently, and it's so busy, and you're just going into so much detail on all the whiskies, and every once in a while somebody will say, "What's that?" and I go, "That's whiskey, pal." Okay, so distillery number 28. So this is a Highland distillery, just off the A9.
Yeah,
It's that one you always go past.
you always go past it.
But this is 28.101. It's called Cranberry Reverie. Am I saying that right?
You said 101, it's 108, Callum.
108.
You do need glasses. I can see it from here.
You sure? So I'm
what?
not kidding. I
Come
can see it isn't any. I'm just about stupid sometimes. Yes. So sweet, fruity, and mellow flavor profile. 12 years
That
old.
point. First, he's
Already.
lost.
I've literally had like the tiniest little
I
sip.
shouldn't have poured you such a big glass.
You just did it as well.
I know I did.
I don't even know what I was talking about there. Yeah, so it comes in at 60.9, so it's going to be pretty punchy, but it's full bourbon barrel, 12 years maturation.
Yeah.
Something interesting about this distillery is that there's been alcohol production on the site for is it 6 centuries? Or
Oh,
something?
yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
It was originally a brewery,
Yeah.
and it's got loads and loads of history.
Yeah. But it feels to me, do you know that this distillery, Anna, it's on the A9, you pass it when
Oh,
you get
yeah.
up to Perth.
Uh-huh.
It used to have some
I'm
kind
not
of...
sure if she's pretending that she knows which one it is, or
It
she
used to have a kind of, a cafe and all that stuff, a retail centre, which I don't think
Oh.
it's open anymore.
It
Wait,
looks a bit like it looks like a biscuit factory or something.
Yeah.
A little bit.
is it Diageo?
No,
No. Okay, then I don't know which one it is. Ah,
it's.
okay.
I
Thank you.
think it's kind of unsung.
Well, we see quite a lot of the bottlings come through, and they're all fantastic. It goes really well in a bourbon cask. Nice, easy, smooth, sweet. Yeah, I think they've changed ownership recently, and you're going to see a lot of the stuff they're producing now is
Yeah.
going to be great.
I think there was a period they were maybe putting whiskey into casks.
They
Which
were closed
not
for
brilliant.
I think they reopened in
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But I think people are a wee bit maybe a bit
think-
sniffy about it.
Yeah. I
Right,
think
yeah.
when they bought it, they bought a lot of stock that came with it, and it was in a lot of tired casks.
Yes.
So they had a big project to try and move these into newer casks, more and get more from the wood.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They're great. They're fantastic. Yeah.
I think in a blind tasting, you would think, oh, that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you told someone the name of the distillery, they might be like,
Well, it's not that.
Yeah.
not
you
that
said
well known.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brands out there that are growing, and they'll just go from strength to strength.
Yeah.
it's certainly very different from the last one. And I suppose that shows you,
Even
You know,
though that's
the variety.
60%.
Mhm.
I mean, I probably always add water, but it doesn't blow your head off
I don't
in
think it
terms
needs
of
water almost.
no.
no,
It's very
It's
drinkable.
still quite drinkable. Even at 60%, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very fresh. It's fruity. It's kind of it's kind of citrus fruit from it. A bit of honey. It's
Yeah,
almost
like honeydew melon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. There you go.
yeah, it's very vibrant, isn't it?
Yeah. This is my sort of go-to style.
How is it?
Well, just yeah.
Is it your favorite flavor profile?
Well, the sweet fruity mellow is one of them. Yeah. I mean, I love all different types of whiskey, but generally I like a bourbon cask. You know.
There's the cork.
Certainly for the start of the night.
Oh.
I don't know what I've done with it,
Holding on to it.
but yeah, I said easy sipper. A breakfast whiskey, that's what it is.
Breakfast whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever drank whiskey for breakfast.
Very nice. 28108. Another kind of unsung distillery, I think.
Lovely.
Right, got a lot to get through.
Yep.
Have we?
We do. Still going.
Yep.
Such a chore. I hate my job.
Horrific.
I know.
Ugh.
This is the new release from our small batch Heresy series.
Ooh.
And we call it Heresy because when we started doing this, it felt a bit heretical to step away from single cask whiskey, because this is not single cask. It's a small batch blend, and it's called Skooshy Stroopwafel. All right?
Yep.
You tell us anything about this, Callum?
I read my notes earlier, but originally it's a combination of I can't even remember, American oak,
Yes.
and then it's moved into some European oak sherry casks.
Yes.
Is it PX or is it? See, he's got his notes down there. Like,
I'm having a look.
you need the glasses.
European oak. What's the season? It doesn't. Sweet PX wine.
Sweet
Bull.
PX wine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank God. Got something right.
That'll make
Yep.
it in.
Well done.
Oh no.
Yep. PX
See,
in
this is like-
European oak.
Yeah, I mean, I've not tried this, but this is definitely going to be my bag, baby. Did I just say baby at the end of that?
Yeah, you did.
Say it again.
This is definitely my bag, baby. Should I do it in English Austin Powers accent?
Do it, Callum.
This is my bag, baby, yeah. I just,
What a
I'm
great
just,
start to the year.
I'm just here to embarrass myself and everybody else that's involved in this podcast.
You wind them up and watch them
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
It's all
That's
too
why
easy.
we
These
love
two
him.
were being really mean to me earlier. You witnessed that, weren't you?
I
They were
did
telling me that I'm
witness
terrible with a teleprompter.
You're much better.
Hello,
on that,
my
Gerald.
name is Callum. Welcome to the Scotch Malt
Well-
Whisky Society.
Well, you're great on the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
So,
So are you.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're all right.
Thanks very much. Skooshy Stroopwafel. What else can we tell you about this? It is pre-diluted.
I think that's a great name and description. I can see the waffle on the picture here.
Yeah, you
And
can. You can.
You know that when someone suggests something, you find it really hard to get out of your head. But that is like all I'm getting. I'm getting that. What is it
like
caramel in the middle
caramel.
of a yeah.
Yeah, like caramel
I love
wafer.
a strip waffle.
Yeah,
I
they're
would
good.
I want a strip waffle with this. I always have.
Where are
chocolate
Stroopwafels from? Germany.
biscuits. No, Holland.
Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cracking label. The label designs in the Heresy bottles are always great. It's pre-diluted to 50%, so it's like just get in amongst it.
Yeah.
There's no
No.
messing around.
Let's say that. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And it's
It's
only,
got a lovely mouthfeel to it.
We-
Really
yeah.
sticky and sweet.
I've not been talking about pricing, but that's £55.
That's a really good deal.
They're always good value.
They're always
yeah,
good
definitely.
value. Yeah, yeah. It's really nice. You really get the caramel wafer, almost like a chocolatey orange.
Yeah, I can get definitely
well.
orange as well. Yeah. Delicious.
Heresy, fantastic, as always.
Yum.
Right, we've got one more to try, and we're delighted to have
Oh,
a
yes.
Swedish bottling, especially for our Swedish guest.
Did you do that on purpose?
Of
Well,
course you did.
Oh.
I'd love to say we did it on purpose, but,
I actually thought you did. So it's just a coincidence.
well, I did.
Or is that why you thought it'd be good to ask Anna to come on?
It's just-
No, not
Just for that
just.
reason.
Sorry, I always do this.
it's
Not just the only reason. We had mentioned it to you before, right? I
Yes,
I said to you before.
That is true.
So Richard's probably thinking, well, we've got a Swedish whiskey coming out, so we'll get the
Might as
I
well.
we'll get the Swede on.
I made the whiskey team go out and source some Swedish whiskey,
I thought we meant some Swedish staff.
especially.
We need some
especially-
Swedish staff because
Yeah.
it's a Swedish bottle.
Yeah.
Sourced this one.
Yeah.
No, it's just fortuitous. We do bottle international whiskies occasionally, mostly Scotch, obviously,
So,
but occasionally non-Scotch, and we've got a Swedish bottling. Jeepers, John.
I mean,
Swedish pours.
I thought that was a small one.
this is
Oh,
this is what
yeah,
your dad
okay.
poured you when you were I don't know how old.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you before we go into this one. You said the first whiskey you ever had was probably like an Ardbeg or something like that, and you
Yeah.
really weren't sure about it. Do you like those kind of whiskies now?
Yes.
You do.
I love the really, really smoky whiskeys now.
So many people start off with the heavily peated.
Yeah,
I feel that's
That's what whiskey is.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's such a curiosity as well when you smell a peated whiskey, like,
Oh.
and you've never ever experienced it before. You're like,
it's lovely.
you know,
You would need to like your peated whiskey to even stick your nose in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
we've got a few releases from different Swedish distilleries. Well,
Yeah.
a couple, two or three.
Couple. Yeah.
But there's a few more out there. But I think generally they're quite bold flavors,
Yeah.
complex. So
Yeah.
quite often they'll do peated or non-peated, but they're quite full on, aren't they?
It's like you say, the Swedes in general like
Full on.
that style of, well,
Quite full on.
they like that style of whiskey.
Yeah, we like that style of whiskey, the kind of peatiness. I think that's the like really, really famous, or just the distilleries that people go for in Sweden is that kind of Lafroig,
Yeah.
Ardbeg,
Yeah.
just a really peatiness. But I think Tamnavulin is quite popular as well.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think they do a lot of peaty whiskies,
No, they don't.
but they do a lot of experimental casks.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite sweet, so it's still again that kind of full-bodied
Yeah.
whiskies.
And the peat
Just a
from this
mouthful.
has been sourced from Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
They use Scottish peat.
Yeah, I
That's
believe
silly,
I believe they import
yes.
the smoky malted barley
Is that what they do?
from Scotland and distill it over in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second cask we've bottled from this distillery.
Yep.
145.
I didn't realise. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's under our heavily peated profile, which for us means it's like it's the next level of peatiness.
It's
You know,
pretty medicinal. This is
Yeah.
like
yeah.
it's like a cold like fireplace. You know, the morning after, and it's like ashy and medicinal.
Yeah, it's definitely the medicinal style of peat, isn't it? The Isla style that
100%.
you would think of rather
Delicious
than
though.
kind
I wouldn't say this is
of
like.
Highland
Oh,
or
that's
Orkney. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's completely. I mean, it definitely is peated. That the type of peat you get from it, but in terms of level of peatness, it's definitely up there. But it's not like the most insane, highly peated whiskey I've ever tried in my life. You know what I mean? It's
No, it's still quite pleasant.
it's still got. You can still able to get your head around the other flavors in it. So
Yeah.
it's still got a nice light sort of floral.
It's quite floral. But
Yeah.
also like almost like a forest floor a little
Nice
bit.
balance,
like
I
moss.
think, is where I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yes, it's very nice and balanced.
You need to tell us what the name of the
Oh, yeah,
whiskey
we
is and
haven't done
talk us through the bottle. And
Right.
you can do it
Where
once
do
in
I
Swedish
start?
and then once in English.
Should I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, where do I start?
Swedish or English first?
Well, if Patrick tuning in from Sweden,
Go for Swedish
Yay,
first.
Patrick.
yeah,
Okay, wait, where do I start? So,
Whatever you want. Just, tell us the distillery number and then the name and then what kind of cask it's been in, how old it is.
okay, so this is the Swedish version.
like
Det här är destillerinummer 145 och det är vår andra utgåva från det här destilleriet. Namnet är Liquid Medicinal Smoke och det är en 10-åring. Och den var destillerad den 23 november 2013 i Sverige.
It sounds like she's made that
Skål.
up.
yeah.
I don't believe
And,
that's actually Swedish. I'm not
Patrick.
saying something really mean about you.
I know we don't talk about
I
distillery
can't
names.
believe I came on this silly podcast with these two old codgers.
If you were to say that in Swedish,
Yes.
how would you say it?
Well, I think me and Callum actually talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So you had your
Accidentally.
pronunciation for it, and I had mine.
Well, let's just say it and see if
Right,
it.
you say
We would call it smoking, right?
Oh, I think it's better now.
Have I changed what I said?
Yeah, you did.
Well, you're sounding completely different from what I said, so how
Okay.
would you pronounce it?
Smögen.
That sounded better.
Of course it sounded better, yeah.
I think you said schmogen or something.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
who,
close enough.
who knows what I said? I can't remember.
Well,
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And what
It's
do you
good.
think? In a
I like the way you really thought about that and then you paused and you were like, smoking.
do you think in a blind tasting, if you had that set up with some peated Scotch whiskies, you'd be picking that out and saying there's something different about it?
I mean, there is something different about it, but would you be able to establish that it wasn't from Scotland? No.
no.
I don't think so.
I think in terms of world whiskies, there's a lot of other countries that are doing fantastic stuff, and I have to say, the ones that I've tried from Sweden are right up there. I think
Good,
I think they're great. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. How's the scene in Sweden in general in terms of whiskey? There's quite a few distilleries now.
There's quite a few distilleries. I think they keep popping up. It's definitely, I mean, whiskey is definitely like maybe not up and coming, but it's definitely increasing. I think more and more people are enjoying whiskey.
Yeah.
And I think that's as well because more and more people want that kind of, they want the full experience. They don't just want to drink. And I think whiskey can offer that full experience.
Well, the Swedes are quite sophisticated, aren't they? So they need a
Are they?
sophisticated. I think so.
Have you seen them
They
drunk?
love the bevy.
Well,
love the
love
bevy.
the
They love the bevy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's
So
all the,
that's what it is.
Scandinavian-
It's not about the
Nordic
experience. It's just about high
Do they-
alcohol volume.
Yeah.
Is it in Sweden they have the snoods? You put the wee,
Snooze?
what are the tea bag
Oh,
tobacco things you
I
put in
think
your
you
mouth?
call them snuff in English, I think, yeah?
A snuff's a
Is
box.
that what you mean?
Oh,
similar.
it's like
Oh, so you-
chewing tobacco.
Yeah, chewing
But it's like
tobacco.
it's like a wee tea bag. It's like a wee
Yeah.
bag. And you put it in your gums and it
So you have the loose version.
gets you like high or something.
Yeah, and then you have the little tea bag.
People actually do that.
Lots
quite
of
common.
people.
I've seen
It's
some,
really
yeah.
popular. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Swedes love the bevy. I remember when I was young.
saying it.
I was in
Swedish
Copenhagen. This is before the bridge was
This
built.
is true, Anna. Do
From-
Swedes love the baby?
From Copenhagen over to Malmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the bridge.
You
You had to
been?
get, this is years ago.
You've been to a few places.
And the Swedes on that boat, oh my goodness, because they came over to
Making that, do you see that?
Denmark.
It's delicious.
Swedish measures.
Oh.
They come over to Denmark because the bevy's cheaper in Denmark. But this was
Yes.
back then.
No,
and
it's
then,
still.
then they're on the boat back. Talk about a booze cruise. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
falling down the gangplank when we go back to Sweden. Now there's a bridge.
Now there's
so
a bridge,
It's
so
much easier.
yeah, yeah.
How long have you been in Scotland for?
I've been in Scotland for 5 years now.
5 years. Well,
Yeah.
you said something like words like baby. Is there any Scottish words that you thought were really weird when you first heard them, or ones that you've picked up? My opinion.
Yeah.
There's probably quite a lot of rude ones that you probably couldn't say on camera. Got
Yeah,
like
there's
insults.
a
We're quite good.
few
We're
of
quite good at
those.
insults.
You're good at insults,
Yeah.
but I'd say you're quite like a really polite and nice nation as a
You
whole.
think? Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's why I came.
That
You're just polite.
depends,
You're just far too polite. I
Am I?
think the Swedes are a
Alright.
nice nation. Yeah.
I might need to.
depends who you're
Love
talking
it
Keep that
about.
if you want.
Yeah,
You're trying. She wouldn't even let you let go of the bottle. Yeah. See that?
holding on to it for dear life.
Well, that's tremendous. 145.2 liquid medicinal smoke. A good name,
Fantastic
I would say, for that.
Did you name it? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah.
I didn't name that.
Oh,
I have it again.
There we
Yeah.
Very good. So a nice bottle from Sweden. Look out for that in January. We always pick out a couple of our kind of, what we call them, not entry level, but more approachable in terms of price
Amazing
point.
value.
Amazing value. What have we got?
well, I'll take one if you want. You do
You
one.
take that one.
So we have got. I better take my time with the number here in case I get it wrong.
Can you read
121. I can.
Right,
Like,
glasses.
121. It's decided bright in here, Richard. You know that? Like 121.111.
Very good.
Wow.
121.111.
Yeah.
It's called Tempura. Oh God, here we go. I have no idea. I'm gonna get this word wrong. Tincture?
Can't wait.
That's good.
I got it right.
Yeah.
Tempura tincture.
You know what it means?
121.111. No.
Tincture's like a wee medicinal drop of
it?
something, right?
Oh, is it?
Like a wee
I
pink.
didn't
Is
know.
Yeah.
that the word that comes?
It's almost like you've got a
like
drop.
Tinkerbell.
I don't think that's anything to do with it.
There's lots of
Like a
stuff.
tincture's a medicinal thing, isn't it? Like the doctor would get a wee tincture.
like
It's
tincture.
It's a wee small thing, and it doesn't matter.
almost like,
It's
a
a
wee
wee tick.
drop, maybe,
I get you.
a
I get
drop
what you're
in the
saying.
tongue,
Yeah.
medicine,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and there's tempura. So, anyway, so this is from
Do you know what
the
tempura
Highland
is?
region. Yeah, I know what tempura
Okay,
is.
just check.
I'll tempura your haggis.
Oh, the
what
haggis
is-
balls, they're good.
Haggis ball, yeah. What's the difference between tempura and like just normal sort of deep frying?
I think it's a lighter, quicker form.
I think we're both looking at
Frying,
Anna.
yeah.
Anna, help us out here. We've started something that we
Oh
can't
God.
finish.
I
Do you
feel
have any
like,
idea?
well, I don't know. I
'Cause we
might
don't have
make
a
it
clue.
I
worse.
feel like
It's
a
lighter.
Scottish deep fried
It's more,
thing is
tempura's more
heavier.
Asian style, isn't
I
it?
thought
Yeah.
it was like a type of shrimp.
No, it's just
No.
the
But you could
form
have-
of,
yeah.
you could have
You could have
tempura anything.
tempura.
It's the form of cooking it.
Ah.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
think it's lighter.
it's like
It's a
batter, like
lighter.
fish and chips.
Whereas the
You can have a
Japanese, they do it, it's,
tempura fish
it's
or-
sophisticated. Whereas
Probably
the
is a bit
Scottish
more
do it, it's
sophisticated.
like stick it in the deep fat fryer.
But how do you
deep
make it
fry your Mars bar.
lighter when it's deep fried?
It's to do with the
The batter,
batter.
The
That's
batter.
word I was looking for.
breadcrumbs,
The bread, okay.
all of that.
Yep.
Batter. That sounds like a Scottish word. I'll batter you, son. Where are we going? This is this is from the Highland region. Duncan's telling me to hurry up.
Yeah.
Because he's like, the more you go on, the more I have to edit. So
It's a lot of editing.
so this is the Highland region, but it's actually from an island just off the west coast, very close to Glasgow, which I love. And this is
Is that the place they call Scotland in miniature?
it is, yeah, it is indeed.
Just
Because they have lowlands and highlands and all the flora and fauna you find everywhere in Scotland. Have you ever been to the Scotland in miniature island off the west coast of Scotland?
The miniature island.
It's called Arran.
I have not been to Erin, but I would love to go to Erin.
You have to go to Erin. It's amazing.
I've
and
been
it's
to
so
Isle
easy
of
to get
Harris,
to.
which is further
A lot
away.
further away. Why are you laughing so much?
It's my purse.
You went to such lengths to avoid.
Well, I think sometimes when you have a distillery,
Like, you could just say Erin.
when I think you have a distillery named after the island, and you also or the place, you can't just say the place that it came from.
Right.
Yeah,
It gives it away,
okay.
but it's a kind of a loophole, right?
Yeah.
This is from the Isle of Arran,
I have not been
a
there.
distillery on the Isle of Arran. Anyway, it's fantastic. We love it. We're starting to see these. We've bottled it before a while ago, but we're starting to see them come through quite often.
Yes.
And they go really quickly because it's just
Yeah.
such a great style of
really
whiskey.
good distillery.
Everyone loves it.
Do you know how much it is?
It's 50 something.
£57.
There we go.
Right. So brilliant value.
Yeah.
I'll give a quick shout out to 1152. It's called a pyramid of peach, pear, and apricot pastries.
Apricot.
Apricot. You say apricot, I say apricot.
I don't even say apricot. I say
do you say-
apricot? Apricot.
No, I don't know.
I would say apricot. You said apricot.
Apricot.
I would say apricot. You said no.
I
God.
think I don't know. I think
Apricot.
apricot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something.
I'm
Yeah.
outvoted.
We're
You
getting
said something
lots of
altogether
agreement
different.
here.
Though. There's 3 different versions of that there.
I don't.
Apricot, apricot.
Anyway,
Paul.
this
Ask the
is
members.
Nine-
Yeah, comments below.
9-year-old first fill ex-bourbon barrel, £55. What about that?
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
That's
So,
right.
we're loving, yep.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Speaking of leaving the comments, we got a comment last time
Okay.
about the socks.
Yes.
Sock game.
Oh God. Oh,
So
no.
I mean, I always, I've got my trousers on, but I need to make sure I've got a good strong sock game. Richard here is dressed as the Wicked Witch of the East.
I think I'm wearing the same socks
Perfect.
as was last time.
And what's your?
Oh, this
what
is
you got?
embarrassing. I've been put on the spot. Okay, but it's really cold today, and so I'm wearing ski socks. They're wool ski socks, so they go all the way up to my knees, and they keep me warm.
That's very sensible.
Very
it is
sensible.
sensible.
Not very fashionable, but
No,
it's
that's good.
nice.
Right, we're going to wrap up, but
Uh-oh,
we've got
why are you pointing at me?
something- Because over
right.
your
Oh,
shoulder,
yeah. Okay.
Callum,
Yeah.
I'm not pointing at you, I'm pointing at
Richard's going to tell us all about it.
something very exciting coming up at the end of January. Is a new collection under our Creators Collection series. You've been heavily involved in this, Anna.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you can
even better. You can
you
tell
can
us.
tell us a wee bit about these bottles. I mean,
Right.
this is a phenomenal collection, right?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal collection. So this is the second release of the Creators Collection. This is coming out later in January. So essentially what we wanted to do with this collection, which is called the Shona Hardy Collection, is essentially all about homecoming. We wanted to take our members on a journey back to our spiritual home, in essence, which is the vaults. And we wanted to have the label design just be about like a specific place or location down in the shore or at the vaults, which the members know and love. So this one in particular is called Shore Reflections. And this is, I think it's, oh God. Yeah,
I'm missing one.
Come on, Rob.
Missing
It's
one.
a quartet.
it's a quartet. Here's the
Ta-da.
full quartet.
Get a QVC face on.
Yeah, so essentially we wanted to match the liquid to the label design.
My arms getting tired.
So for instance, let's go for this one. So for the home is where the hearth is. This is a lightly peated one to match the kind of warmth and smokiness
Did you be involved in that?
of the liquid and
Who came up with
the
Snuggle Toast?
fireplace of leaf.
This is the first time
of
I've
the
actually seen
vaults.
these bottles, but how cool would it be to sit in? Have you had a dram in the snug before?
I haven't.
No.
I've been in and seen it, and I've never actually had a dram in there. That would be great. Imagine
nice and
sitting in
cozy.
there with your snug and toasty dram dedicated to that wee area,
Brilliant.
in there having a dram.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And we got the barroom buzz along the end here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I've got home is where the hearth is.
Hearth is,
See what
yeah.
we've done there? The hearth.
What you did.
What I did, the fireplace and the heart. You know, the heart and soul of the vaults.
Yep.
Our spiritual home, sitting by the fire. That's what it's all about.
So these are all released at the end of the month, and then will they be released initially as a collection?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Full
initially
collection.
as a collection, but I think subsequently individually.
Individually.
But if you can get them as a collection, there's
would do
not
it.
many available. So try and get hold of them as a collection.
Get them all you
And
can.
look at the whiskey that's in these bottles. It's quite a collection, isn't it?
Well, we've got some
Look at
fairly
it.
good ages here, 32
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is proper good stuff we're talking.
It's very, very good stuff. So
And Shona Hardy, she's been designing things for the site for a long time, hasn't she?
Yeah, so she created the artwork for the vaults when we did the refurbishment. Thank you. Struggling. So we thought it was a good idea to bring her back when we did this collection.
yeah.
We thought no one
Yeah,
could
she's
do it
great.
better.
She lives in Leith. She
Yeah.
belongs to the place, and this is a sense of homecoming and what the vaults means within Leith.
Yeah,
Its place in Leith's history as a place where there's whiskey all around you, or at least there's
Whiskey all around you.
you
You knew it because you were thinking it too.
Uh,
Oh, she's singing too.
or at least there's a sense of history and the bonded warehouses and the shore where the casks would have come in from Spain to be decanted with the sherry taken out and the whiskey put in.
I always think about
it's all
some of our
good.
members that come from around the world. I think if you're a whiskey fan and you come to Scotland, because you never realise how special something is when it's in your back garden.
That's true.
I grew up knowing that what Scotland was famous for whiskey, but not being too bothered about it. But
Don't even appreciate
you
your
don't really
national
appreciate
poet.
it. You never let things go, do you? But imagine you're a long-serving SMWS member and you come home to the vaults. It's
Yes.
pretty special.
Quite special, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that's a nice point to end on.
Yep.
Nice sentiment, Callum.
Thank you.
Well done. Anna, thanks for joining
Well,
us.
Thanks for
you have to
having
toast
me.
the drum,
Oh,
Anna.
okay.
It's been a pleasure
Thanks.
Have the
coming.
Swedish one.
Yeah.
to have your Swedish input. And,
Cheers. Sponge.
Yep, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And here's to a great year of society whiskey adventures ahead.